Good afternoon and welcome. Today is the regular meeting of the Rancho Mirage City Council and Community Services District, Energy Authority, Housing Authority, Joint Powers, Finance Authority, Library and Observatory, and Redevelopment Successor Agency Boards. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'm now asking for a flag salute. Council Member E. Fromberg Edelstein, would you please? Got it. First meeting back from the holidays.
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, may we have roll call, please?
Of course. Councilmember Downs.
I am here.
Councilmember Fromberg Edelstein.
Here.
Councilmember Weil.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Keefe.
Here.
And Mayor Mulatto.
I am here. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is presentations. And we are recognizing life-saving actions by the Ritz-Carlton Rancho Mirage staff. We have the privilege of recognizing an outstanding example of preparedness, teamwork, and quick thinking demonstrated at the Ritz-Carlton Rancho Mirage. On Tuesday, December 9th, a staff member experienced a serious medical emergency while at work. Before emergency responders could arrive, fellow employees immediately stepped in to provide care and stabilize their colleague. Executive Chef Bruno Lopez quickly contacted Safety and Security Department to ensure help was on the way. Safety and Security Officer Eric Silva responded immediately with medical equipment, secured the area, contacted 911, and remained with his colleague until the emergency personnel arrived and assumed care. As we all know, emergencies do not wait, and the actions taken in the first few minutes can be critical. To speak about why training and preparedness matter so much in moments like this, I would like to take the opportunity to invite Battalion Fire Chief Whitaker to share a few words, if you would, please, Chief.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor Mulatto, members of the council. Pleasure to be here today. I'd like to take this opportunity just to speak to you about a few things. You know, every day, emergencies happen before first responders arrive. And in those critical moments, a citizen trained in CPR and first aid can absolutely make the difference between life and death. CPR and first aid training gives you the confidence and the skills to act quickly and care for a loved one, a neighbor, and a stranger to help stabilize that situation until help arrives. One trained person, and that person could be you, could save that life. That's exactly what happened on December 9th, when members of the Ritz-Carlton team responded immediately to their colleagues' medical needs. We'd like to thank the Ritz-Carlton team for their swift action in embodying everyday heroes. We would also like to take this moment to encourage all community members to consider becoming CPR and first aid trained. Together, we can build a safer, stronger community where everyone is prepared to help when it matters the most. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Before we present today's recognitions, I would like to note that this is not the first time the City of Rancho Mirage has had the opportunity to recognize life-saving actions and skills by the Ritz-Carlton team. About 10 years ago, the organization was honored for a similar response. Though we would prefer not to make this a habit unless these are very positive outcomes. We will continue signing and sealing certificates of appreciation for people's efforts. This afternoon, the City of Rancho Mirage is proud to present 3 certificates of recognition. First and foremost, to the Ritz-Carlton Rancho Mirage staff. Your culture of training, preparedness, and teamwork made swift action possible. Thank you for looking out not only for one another, but your guests, and for setting an example for our community. The second certificate will be presenting to Chef Bruno Lopez, our executive chef. Your immediate response and leadership ensured that help was activated without delay. Thank you for your professionalism and commitment to the safety of the team. Now, it's my understanding Chef Bruno will not be joining us because he's probably up cooking and serving meals up at the hotel, doing what he does best. And finally, to Eric Silva, the Security and Safety Officer, your calmness, knowledgeable and prepared response reflects the importance of training and readiness. Because of your actions, a life was protected, a life was saved, and we are grateful for your service. Before we conclude, and we're hoping she'll be able to arrive shortly, we would like to recognize this afternoon the newly appointed general manager of the Ritz-Carlton Ritz-Carlton Rancho Mirage, Sheila Busheman. Sheila, we want to extend a very warm welcome to you. You are taking the helm of an exceptional team, one that clearly values preparation, professionalism, and care for one another. We are grateful for the partnership we share with the Ritz-Carlton and look forward to continuing that relationship under your leadership. At this point in time, we'd like to present these certificates. Would the Ritz-Carlton team, all the members that are here, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you so very, very much to all of you. This is wonderful. Nicole, I'm going to tap on you to make comments here in just a moment. What we'd like to do, Chef is not here, so would you like to accept for Chef Lopez?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Actually had a family emergency, so he's in France.
He's in France.
Wanted to be here, but yeah.
I would choose France too, other than. Absolutely. And then who would like to accept for the Ritz-Carlton team? All the employees. There you go. Wonderful. And to Mr. Silva, hello. Thank you for your quick actions. Could we have all of you, please, come to the front? This is all about you. I guess I'm included.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor Mulatto. It's such an honor, and it's an honor also to be recognized by a city that values our safety and security so much, and so it's just that much more meaningful that you would honor us with this award. But it would be remiss if I didn't pass it over to my amazing colleague and Director of Safety and Security, Daniel Rodriguez, to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. My name is Daniel Garcia, Director of Safety and Security at the Ritz-Carlton Rancho Mirage. I have the pleasure of here honoring Eric Silva, our Safety and Security Officer, which with his quick thinking, responsive decision-making, quite literally saved a life. Eric, in a moment of crisis where there's no scripts, you jumped into action with compassion, courage, and clarity. Because of that, Chef Wallen's family received the greatest gift of all, and right before Christmas. They are able to celebrate more life, more laughter, more shared meals, and more memories. Eric, again, thank you for enlivening Marriott's principle of putting people's first, the Ritz-Carlton standards of taking care of each other. On behalf of Marriott International, the Ritz-Carlton Rancho Mirage, and this entire community, we are proud of you. Eric, thank you so much for reminding us that service is not what we do, but it's who we are. Again, thank you so much, Eric. I'm proud to be your colleague.
Thank you so much for all that you do, not only in this instance, but what you give 365 to the community of Rancho Mirage. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we'll move on to council member comments and reports, and I will start to my left with council member Eve Fromberg Edelstein.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to speak about a phenomenon called the third shift. In relation to modern female caregivers, the third shift is a sociological term describing the invisible and ongoing mental and emotional labor that women, especially caregivers, perform outside of work and household chores. The third shift is the constant cognitive and emotional work of anticipating needs, planning, organizing, and remembering everything, managing emotions, their own and others, and being the default problem solver and safety net for their homes. It happens after the first shift, which is your paid work that a person does, and the second shift, referring to household and caregiving labor that often never fully stops. And due to its unrelenting demand, this work extends into a third shift. In regard to female caregivers, examples include keeping mental lists of appointments, medications, and school deadlines, remembering birthdays, doctor's visits, permission slips, and supplies, monitoring children's or elders' emotional states, planning meals, contingencies, and backups, worrying about what-if scenarios late at night, and coordinating care even when others are helping. Importantly, the third shift is largely unseen and unpaid, yet it is mentally and physically exhausting. It disproportionately affects women because women are often socially assigned the roles of default caregiver and manager. Even in dual income households, women tend to carry more of a mental load. Caregiving expectations persist regardless of employment status, and emotional labor is culturally feminized and undervalued. And why it matters is because and calling it the third shift and acknowledging it is because it makes invisible labor visible, explains chronic fatigue and burnout that isn't tied to doing nothing, helps reframe the issue as structural and not as personal failure. For modern female caregivers, the third shift is the relentless mental and emotional labor of managing lives, relationships, and responsibilities performed continuously beyond paid work and physical caregiving demands. Well, one city has decided to take the unpaid emotional and caregiving labor women do outside their jobs seriously. And in Bogota, about half of the city's 8 million residents, specifically women, do some form of unpaid care work, and about a quarter of them spend more than 10 hours a day on it. This is typically on top of paid work, which for many women involves caring for others. That's why the city created care blocks. These physical city blocks and mobile buses offer essential services for women, ranging from laundry services and job skills training to rest and relaxation. Meanwhile, trained staff and teachers looked after children and elderly parents. The goal is simple but radical: to give women back time. What it means: the city has essentially built infrastructure for survival. Care blocks are operating in Mexico City and Santiago, Chile. And organizers and public health officials want to expand to other cities globally, including one in the U.S., location unknown, by the end of the year. The results could bring some needed relief and acknowledgement to people caring for loved ones, many of whom also work. The ethos is this: you shouldn't have to be doing this so much. You deserve a full life beyond caring for kids, for aging relatives, and for your partner. And I say amen to that. I share this not because I am directly proposing that Rancho Mirage engage in the development of a care block, but to raise awareness about caregiver exhaustion and the need for support. We do reside in a community that is supported by caregivers, both paid and unpaid. Even for the paid givers, while their work is to take care of someone, they most likely have a family at home they also care for on their off time. I thought the concept of support for the unpaid work carried by females should be highlighted in this new year. I also believe that our city does a great job supporting endeavors that provide help to those women, both directly and indirectly. Our work and continued efforts towards creating more affordable housing options, funding healthcare and daytime memory care facilities, library programming for families and children, are a version of a sustainable care block that promotes quality of life for all its residents. And I just wanted to highlight that cities do more than we recognize, and I think these are the kinds of things that lift people in ways that not everyone gets to always see. So those are my comments for today.
And those are wonderful comments. Thank you very, very much. Councilmember Steve Downs.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. So this is our first meeting of the new year, and so I think it's a good time for us to talk about council priorities for 2026. So I want to list those priorities as I see them. First is public safety, which includes law enforcement, fire safety, and emergency medical services. This is council's most important priority. So before I talk about goals for 2026, let's talk for a moment about the results that we've achieved in 2024 and 2025. During the years 2021 through 2024, property crime was reduced in this city by 54%, a cumulative rate of 54%. And for the first 4 months of 2025, the property crime rate was down 37% versus the same period in 2024. So we've done a great job in law enforcement services in this city in recent years. For our CAL FIRE team, the Insurance Services Office, the ISO rating for this city places us in the top 6.5% nationwide for structural fire protection. So we've done a good job in the last couple of years. What do we need to do in 2026? Well, first is an issue. The issue is that our ability to provide public safety for this city, or the cost for us to provide for public safety in this city, has risen by double-digit numbers, more than 10% each year for the last several years. However, revenues in this city continue to increase at a low single-digit rate. So we have a revenue imbalance. So what's our goal for 2026? It's twofold. First, we need to make sure that we keep all of you just as safe in 2026 as we did in 2025 and 2024. We need to deliver the same level of public safety services in the future as we've delivered in the past. But second, we need to find a way to do that within the constraints of the budget imbalance that I just described. So that's our public safety goal in my mind for 2026. Next is affordable housing. So again, let's take a look at the past and then I'll talk about 2026. So the state of California requires cities to update the housing element of our general plan once every 8 years. We are 3 years into the current 8-year cycle of the current housing element. Now, the state requires us to include an affordable housing component in our housing element. For us, we must entitle at least 1,100 income-restricted affordable housing units during the 8-year cycle of the plan. Now, what have we done during the first 3 years? We've done a great job. We've entitled 850 of those 1,100 units, about 80%. And many of them are under construction today. So we've done a great job. But here's what we need to do in 2026. We can't take our eye off the ball. And the reason is we still have 250 affordable housing units that we must entitle over the remaining 5-year cycle of the housing element of our general plan. So let's revel in what we've done in the past, but let's not take our eye off the ball about what we need to do in the future. Now, the next issue that we need to take care of are several plans that we've instituted in this city. First is the Economic Development Master Plan. So last year, we hired a consultant to help develop a master plan, an economic development master plan for the city. The master plan needs to address sustainable economic development and prosperity. It needs to support local businesses. It needs to diversify our economy, and it needs to enhance the quality of life for our residents. We started developing that plan last year. The plan should be finalized sometime in the first few months of 2026. And what we need to do with the remainder of 2026 is do an effective job of implementing that economic development master plan. Next is the wireless master plan. So many of you know, I'm sure you all know, that there are spots in this city where wireless communication is difficult. So what we did last year is we hired a consultant to help improve that problem. And we have now instituted a wireless master plan. We know where we need to build towers. We know the company that we need to work with to get them built. And what we need to do now for the remainder of 2026 is to implement that wireless master plan. Next is an amphitheater master plan. So we have a great cultural resource in this city, or amphitheater, off of Highway 111. That amphitheater, we've never developed a master plan for use of that amphitheater. Well, we did hire a consultant last year, and during the first couple of months of 2026, we should have a plan in place, and we need to implement that plan during the remainder of 2026. Next is the Highway 111 specific plan. So Highway 111 is the key economic corridor in our city, and we need a comprehensive effort to modernize land use, design, and economic development for that corridor. Next are 3 things that we need to do with outside agencies. One is the Coachella Valley Association of Governments. So as many of you might know, last year we did partner up with CVAG in doing signal synchronization in the city. Now, most of the city is already synchronized, but some of it is not. And CVAG is going to partner with us to finish up that remaining signal synchronization program. So towards the end of last year, there was an $8 million grant that CVAG and the Riverside County Transportation Commission approved. So that $8 million will come in over the course of the next year or two, and we need to use those funds in cooperation with CVAG to signal synchronize the entire city of Rancho Mirage. Next is a project that we need to complete in conjunction with CVWD, our water department. It has to do with the pedestrian crossing at Frank Sinatra over the Whitewater Wash. We have had many complaints over the years about how unsafe that crossing is. We need to fix it. Well, Public Works is working with CVAG the CVWD to develop a plan that will work for that pedestrian crossing. We need to get that plan implemented or determined during the course of this year and finally implemented. And last is a plan in cooperation with another outside agency, the Imperial Irrigation District. So there is a portion of our city in the northwest quadrant of our city where power is delivered by the IID. Well, the IID can't deliver any more power unless there's a new substation built. Guess who has to build it? We have to build it. Well, we've engaged in a cooperative agreement with Palm Desert, with the county, with the Berger Foundation, and with IID to share the cost in building that substation. We need to make sure that plan is fully implemented this year and that substation gets built over the coming years. Now, we need to do all of that, and we need to keep our eye on the ball on several other things. First is fiscal responsibility. We've been known for fiscal responsibility in this city for years. Well, we need to do all of these projects and still maintain the same reserves that we've retained in the past. We need to make sure that we deliver the same level of service to our residents that we have in the past. We need to make sure that we maintain the same level of relationship with our Chamber of Commerce and our business community that we have in the past. So those are the issues that, as I see them for 2026. And Madam Mayor, I look forward to rolling up my sleeves with you, with Eve, with Ted, with Michael, and going to work on those projects in 2026. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. And just for clarification, for affordable housing, it's affordable housing for seniors, it's affordable housing for veterans, and workforce housing for those that work in our hospitality industry as well as our hospitals, both our largest employers here in the city of Rancho Mirage. Many of those employees having to drive 30 to 40 miles to come and work in our fair city. So we think this is a valuable investment and part of our economic development plan. Next, I'd like to call on Council Member Ted Weil.
Thank you, Mayor. And I welcome everyone. This was our first meeting, basically, of the new year. And I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas holiday, a New Year's. May the coming year bring everyone good health, peace, and prosperity. We're off to a roaring start as far as the city is concerned. We have a lot of things in the works, some of which you've already heard about. I'd like to bring you up to date on a few things that you can make a note about attending that will be both enjoyable and informative. On Saturday, January 24th at 3 p.m., the Rancho Mirage Amphitheater welcomes back the Coachella Valley Symphony's Best of Stage and Screen. This incredible lineup of the most memorable scores from both stage and screen, with unforgettable music from Broadway and the big screen, will fill you with nostalgia and leave you wanting more. This performance is free. Let me emphasize that. This is free. So take advantage of it to the public. So visit cvsymphony.com to reserve your 2 complimentary tickets. I guarantee you the place will be jammed, and it will be a most enjoyable day for you. The other we hold periodically, which is something to take advantage of. We've talked about public service, which, in my opinion, and I believe my colleagues feel likewise, is our single greatest obligation being on the City Council. I want you to join us for Coffee with a Cup at Cheers Coffee. For those of you who have not been to Cheers yet, Cheers is a coffee shop at the river that formerly was occupied by Starbucks some years ago. Cheers is just a delightful spot, and we're so pleased to be able to welcome them with having coffee with the cop. This is a great opportunity to ask questions, voice concerns, and get to know the deputies who serve your neighborhood. We do this periodically. We try to rotate among various locales in the city, and this is the first time it will be held at Cheers. And so again, I encourage you to join us on February 4th between 9 and 11 a.m. And lastly, one of the highlights of our year and what has become an international event is the Rancho Mirage Writers Festival, which takes place January 28th through January 30th. The 26th Rancho Mirage Festival will be, and this is the important part, will be live streamed on the RMF YouTube channel at Rancho Mirage Writers Festival. Now, we hear immediately each year that, well, I wasn't able to get a ticket. It was sold out immediately, and indeed it is. It is sold out literally, and I'm not exaggerating. It is sold out within minutes of when they go on sale. But now it will be live streamed, every single event. And not only will it be live streamed as far as the current programs are concerned, but you can go to the YouTube Rancho Mirage site and pull up every one of the prior Rancho Mirage Writers Festival events. It is an incredible event. It is internationally recognized, and we're just very, very excited to welcome it again, January 28th to January 30th. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Comments, please, from Mayor Pro Tem O'Keefe.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Hello, everyone. I hope you had a great holiday season, and I hope you're off to a good start for this new year. A couple of things today. Some of you have asked me about changes in your electricity bill. So I wanted to get you a little bit of information about it, and I talked to our Deputy of Sustainability, Jessica Pulliam, who's like an encyclopedia when it comes to electrical issues and power issues. And she explained to me that the California law changed, which required electrical utilities to change how residential electric bills are structured. So instead of collecting most grid and costs based on how much you use, the bills now include a base services charge. This is a flat monthly amount that helps pay for maintaining poles and wires, substations, and other grid infrastructure, things that keep every home connected to the system. So now that is an automatic charge on your bill. At the same time, however, the per kilowatt hour delivery rate was actually reduced. So customers who use more electricity may see lower energy rates, even if your bill's a little higher. And while lower use customers shouldn't see too much of an increase, or it should stay about the same. There are monthly base service charges based on income levels, and if you're eligible for some of those programs, you should apply. And if you have any questions about your Rancho Mirage Energy Authority or your SCE bills, I'm happy to tell you that the team here at City Hall happily takes one-on-one meetings with you. You can bring your bill in and get it explained. So if you're interested in that, call the City Hall and make an appointment. As most of you know, the holiday season is very busy, but in the desert, actually right now is even busier. So in addition to the great events that Councilman Weil mentioned, I'd also like to mention a couple of others. This Sunday, January 18th, is Martin Luther King Day celebration in Palm Springs. The symphony, again, on the 24th was great, and of course the Rancho Mirage Writers Festival, which has been called the best writers festival in the country. If you don't take advantage of seeing this on YouTube, you're missing out. You won't see this combination of folks together anywhere else in the world. And then finally, after you've done all this, we close out January with Passion for Pinot. This is a nice break after how busy you'll be at the Writers Festival. It's on Saturday, January 31st, for a day devoted to exceptional Pinot Noir and everything that goes with it. You will have more than 200 wines. You will have guests that are winemakers, gourmet pairings, and there will be live entertainment throughout the day. It's hosted at the Omni Las Palmas Resort and Spa. And Rancho Mirage residents receive $15 off early entry tickets with a promotional code of RM26. That gives you early access to tastings and a more leisurely way to enjoy the experience. There's also a silent online auction right now consisting of wine, restaurants, gift cards, services, and more. And 100%, all of it, 100% of the auction proceeds go to Fresh Eddy Futures, which is a nonprofit organization that promotes the study and manufacturing of wine and helps future winemakers get a start in their industry. It's a busy January. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Well, my colleagues covered all my bases already, so I have two brief comments. One, please do check in with the Rancho Mirage Library. They're celebrating their 30th anniversary, and they have a calendar of programs and events that's just extraordinary. A little more than usual being extraordinary. It's pretty special, this gem that we call our Rancho Mirage Library. And secondly, I'll finish off. I noticed that our new GM for the Ritz-Carlton snuck through the council chambers, Sheila Busheman. Welcome. We're thrilled that you're here, and you have a phenomenal team. Thank you so much. All right. With that, we'll move forward to city manager comments and reports.
None today, Madam Mayor, so I'll move right into the consent calendar. The council has 6 items on the consent calendar for consideration. Items 5A through 5F. 5A is to waive the full reading of any ordinance introduced or adopted pursuant to this agenda. Item 5B is the development agreement amendment number DA 21-0002 for the Ritz-Carlton Residences project located at 68900 Frank Sinatra Drive. Adopt ordinance number 1233, second reading, approving the 10th amendment to the statutory development agreement by and between the City of Rancho Mirage and New Age Rancho Mirage, LLC. Item 5C is to approve the December 18th, 2025 regular City Council meeting minutes. Item 5D is to adopt resolution number 2026 next in order, approving the updated calendar year 2026 salary schedule to comply with the California Public Employees Retirement System statutory and regulatory requirements for compensation earnable and publicly available pay schedules. Item 5E are to approve the contracts, and 5F are to approve the demands. Before we go to council comments or questions, I'll ask the city clerk to take any public comment on the consent calendar.
Thank you. I received one speaker card from Michael Harrington.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Michael Harrington. I'm a resident in Rancho Mirage near Duval and Frank Sinatra, close to City Hall. So I want to briefly note for the record that I submitted written public comments, so I won't repeat those. But I included, what I obtained was a September 19th, 2025 compliance letter from the California Department of Fish and Game and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, a joint compliance letter sent to the city. So I obtained that from CVAG. I was not able to get it from the city ahead of this meeting, but I did get it from another source. So for the record, I oppose the approval of the development agreement in its present form because it does not incorporate enforceable wildlife compliance measures identified by both state and federal agencies, and the development agreement in its present form would unnecessarily shift legal risk to the city and consequently taxpayers such as myself. My request is simply that the development agreement include enforceable, agency-consistent wildlife protections so the city does not inadvertently assume compliance risk. I am not asking the council to relitigate or rehash prior approvals. I'm focusing on the development agreement. Thank you for considering the written materials I already submitted.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on something that is on the consent calendar? That was the only speaker.
Are there any council comments?
No comments, but I'll move to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second that.
Very good.
Hold on one moment.
This is why we shouldn't take off for the holidays. There we go. Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that. And motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is public hearings. The first item, 6A, Historic Resources Survey Update. We have Ben Torres, our planning manager, that'll report on this item. Thank you, Ben.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. In 2003, the City of Rancho Mirage completed its first intensive level survey of historic resources to serve as the backbone of the newly established Historic Preservation Program. Most of the currently designated properties were part of this 2003 Historic Resources Survey. On July 18th, 2024, the City Council awarded a professional services agreement with Urbana Preservation and Planning, LLC, to complete the Historic Resources Survey update. As part of the survey update, a total of 125 properties were evaluated, which included 50 newly recorded properties, 5 new historic districts, 58 previously recorded properties that have not been designated from the 2003 survey, and 12 properties that are designated as historic resources but were missing adequate documentation. Properties listed on the survey update range in year built from 1934 to 1986 and are primarily residential. But as part of the survey update, additional commercial properties were also included, like the VCA Rancho Mirage Animal Hospital, Provident Bank, and Lord Fletcher's, to name a few. Over the course of the survey update, Urbana, the city's historic preservation consultant, utilized contextual and property-specific research to develop an updated and expanded historic context statement. This context statement outlined the historical development of the city and contains information about historical trends and properties. It is organized by important themes with corresponding timeframes. The updated historic context statement utilized the 2003 Historic Resources Survey context as a basis to expand on existing themes from that report and introduce new themes as well as property type descriptions, significance thresholds, and integrity considerations to provide parameters for the identification of significant properties. In total, 8 themes were identified as part of the updated context effort. The Historic Preservation Commission reviewed the survey update on November 19th, 2025, and additionally on December 17th, 2025, and recommended approval of the survey update. One additional public comment for this item was received after the posting of this agenda item, which was distributed to the City Council. Therefore, staff recommends that the City Council take the following actions on the screen, in addition to authorizing staff to making minor revisions to the Historic Resources Survey update based on the comments received. That concludes staff's presentation, and I or Wendy from Urbana Preservation are available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Are there any council comments?
I did not receive any speaker cards. Is there anyone who would like to provide public testimony on public hearing item 6A? No speakers.
Thank you. Any council comments at this point? No? May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion. I move to adopt resolution number 2026, next in order approving the Historic Resources Survey update.
Include.
Would it be possible to also add a modification to authorize staff to make minor amendments to finalize the document?
I'd like to add that to the motion.
Second.
Very good. Please vote.
Motion carries 5-0.
We have some historical fans in the audience. Thank you. The next item, 6B, Historic Preservation Case Number HP 25-0006, consideration to designate the residential home located at 70641 Tamarisk Lane as a historical resource. And again, Ben Torres, our planning manager, will report on this item.
So good afternoon again. So the property owners, James Bennett and David Cohen, submitted a historic designation request for their home. The subject, 5,416 square foot residence, is situated on a .44 acre parcel on the south side of Tamarisk Lane, with the home's backyard facing the Tamarisk Country Club golf course, as shown here in red. The late modern ranch residence was built in 1974 and was designed by architect Stan Allen Sackley. This is the only known original house designed by Sackley and Rancho Mirage. The house has a flat roof design with the central portion over the living areas at a higher elevation than the two adjacent wings. The main entry is flanked by horizontal bands of pink granite inset into the stucco wall finish. This is repeated on the walls of the garage, and the exteriors are primarily clad in white painted stucco. These are some photographs of the front of the home here. And then deep cantilevered overhangs and blade walls provide ample shading along the rear elevation. In addition, the side elevations continue. The blade walls have glass block elements and showcase periodic openings within the roof design. The historic designation request is based on the following categories. One, that the subject structure or site is representative of a particular architectural style or reflects special elements of a historical period, type, style, or way of life important to the city. Two, that the subject structure or site represents the work of a master builder, engineer, designer, artist, or architect whose individual genius influenced an era. And three, that the subject structure or site embodies elements of outstanding or innovation, attention to architectural or engineering design, detailed craftsmanship, or use of materials. The Historic Preservation Commission reviewed this request on November 19th, 2025. The commission unanimously agreed that the residents met the requirements for designation based on the home being a representative example of a late modern residence built by architect Stan Allen Sackley. Therefore, staff recommends that the City Council take the following actions shown on the screen. That concludes staff's presentation, and I'm available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you. I did not receive any speaker cards. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to provide public testimony on public hearing item 6B? No speakers.
Are there any council comments?
Madam Mayor, the only comment that I have is I did attend the Historical Preservation Committee when this property was presented. It's a wonderful property, and I'm going to be happy to vote yes on it. This is a great property, and I appreciate the look of the property and the feel of the property. I'm going to vote yes.
It's one of many treasures, architectural treasures that we have in the city of Rancho Mirage, and we're so thrilled that we have a Historical Preservation Committee, we have Preservation Mirage, our planning department, another fan, and we love the fact that the collaborative efforts to recognize these properties are here. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Sure, I'll make a motion, Mayor, that the City Council adopt resolution number 2026, next in order, designating the residential home located at 7641 Tamarisk Lane, Rancho Mirage, California, APN 674-260-005, a historic resource pursuant to Rancho Mirage Municipal Code, Chapter 15.27.
Please vote.
Motion carries 5-0.
Next item on the agenda, 6C, environmental assessment, case number EA 25-0003, and preliminary development plan, case number PDP 25-003, Global Wildlife Discovery Museum. And we'll have Leslie Perez, Assistant Planner, reporting on this item.
Thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon, City Council. For today's consideration, we have the proposed Global Wildlife Discovery Museum. The project site is located south of the Atrium Shopping Center, which is bounded by Highway 111 to the west and Mirage Cove Drive to the south. The subject site had been previously developed for the Chart House restaurant built in 1978, which was demolished in 2013 due to fire damage. Since the fire, the site has remained vacant. Although the restaurant was demolished, the parking lot remains and will be reconfigured for the proposed project. The project proposes construction of a one-story, 21,967 square feet museum building, which will require the removal of a small portion of the adjoining hillside. The project proposes a front setback of approximately 80 feet and a side setback of approximately 64 feet, which exceeds the setback requirements. Access to the proposed development will use the existing 33-foot wide driveway off Highway 111. A secondary signalized driveway is located off Atrium Way, which is approximately 320 feet north of the main driveway. A new turn pocket will be provided for the existing driveway along Highway 111 that is near the front outdoor plaza. An 8-foot sidewalk shown in green and a new driveway will be added along Mirage Cove Drive. Pedestrians will be able to reach the overflow parking lot using either the sidewalk or a proposed nature pathway shown in purple. The floor plan depicts several exhibit spaces. No live animals will be included in the exhibits, and the exhibits will showcase replicas of the animal's environment. The museum will feature a lobby, flexible event space, wildlife exhibits, a gift shop, a coffee kiosk, and administrative areas. The museum's finished floors slopes gradually from south to north, which follows the natural exterior grade and meets the lower elevation. At the south end, near the front entrance, the cantilevered roofline reaches a maximum height of 34 feet. Clerestory windows will be strategically placed throughout the building to frame the views of the ridgeline and bring natural light into the interior. The windows and door frames will be crafted from dark bronze anodized metal. The building's design will incorporate various wall heights, creating dynamic vertical and horizontal planes. The layered facade will include warm stone veneer, laser-cut aluminum accents, gray plaster, porcelain tile with a maple brown wood finish, and rusted iron fox metal panels. The east portion of the building will be tucked into the adjoining mountain hillside. Similar to the front entrance, the back of the building will contain dark bronze anodized metal windows and a fox metal roofline in a rusted iron color. The south elevation will blend in with the mountain slope and will not be visible from Mirage Cove Drive. This facade features window glazing, the rusted iron roofline, and laser-cut aluminum accents. On the north side, a dedicated service area is attached to the museum, which is screened by a 14-foot-high warm beige cement plaster wall. Additional accent materials include a rusted iron plaster wall, warm and dark gray plaster walls, and a rusted laser-cut aluminum wall. These are some of the renderings of the site. The top rendering is looking east from Highway 111, and the bottom rendering is the view from the front outdoor plaza. One artificial baobab tree will be placed near the front outdoor plaza, which is anticipated to be approximately 25 feet tall. The covered ground will be Indiana gold crushed rock, 3/8 inches in size, and the meandering nature pathway will be made of decomposed granite. Accent materials along the pathway will include 4 to 8 inch Baja crusted rubble, glass, and flagstone pieces. Along Highway 111, 42 new trees are proposed, and 18 existing filifera palms will remain for a total of 60 trees. Per condition number 43, additional palm trees were required to be incorporated to match the surrounding area. Staff originally required additional date palms along Highway 111. However, it has been brought to our attention that a different species may better fit the surrounding area. As a result, staff recommends revising this condition of approval to review and select the palm tree species as part of the final development plan. Along the eastern property line next to the bus parking spaces, there will be 7 48-inch box Desert Museum Palo Verde trees and 5 36-inch box tipo trees. As conditioned, one of the bus parking spaces will be removed and the landscape buffer will be increased from 10.5 feet to 20 feet. An updated exhibit on the right side is provided to show the modifications. A new 6-foot-high block wall and wrought iron fence will be added to prevent trespassing and enclose the back of mountain area. Per condition number 40, the applicant shall also provide a security and maintenance plan. In addition, condition number 42, the overflow parking lot adjacent to Mirage Cove Drive shall provide a 30-inch to 36-inch high landscape screen across the entire parking frontage except for driveways. The project was evaluated under CEQA, and a mitigated negative declaration was determined to be the appropriate level of environmental review. The public period was from October 13 to November 12, 2025. All environmental impacts were found to be less than significant with incorporation of mitigation measures. The Planning Commission reviewed the project and recommended approval on December 11, 2025. Public hearing notices for this meeting were distributed on December 30th, 2025. Additional public comments received after the agenda posting have been distributed to the City Council. Staff recommends that the City Council take the actions shown on the screen, including authorizing staff to revise condition of approval number 43. This concludes my presentation, and I will now invite the project team to make any project-related statements.
Welcome.
Hello, Mayor. Madam Mayor, council members, city staff, guests here in the room and online. My name is Paul Omat, and I represent the Global Wildlife Discovery Museum and the RSH Foundation. We are here today to introduce ourselves and answer any questions that you may have. I will introduce the team. I'll have our architect come up and kind of give a presentation and run through of the exterior of the building, and then we'll have our interior team come and talk through what you'll see as you go through the museum. So if I may, I'll introduce the team, and then I'll have our architect come up. With me today is our museum architects, the firm of Press Vuksik in Greenwood, and John Vuksik will be up here next to do that. Our attorney is here, Mr. Rob Gilliland, who's a well-known land use attorney who's handled all our land use materials for us. Our team from Orr Builders is here. I know many of you are familiar with Orr Builders, but the Orr team is here. Brian and David and Bruce Mays are here in the audience watching and here to answer any questions you may have. Our landscape architecture team is here as well. Chuck Shepherdson from SHA Design. We have Nicole Christie from Terra Nova, our environmental engineer here, if anybody has any questions on that. James Bazuza from Ultimate Group, our civil engineer, is here as well. And Ralph Rea with R7, our electrical engineer, is here as well. So we brought the entire team here today. If there's any questions that people may have specific to the project, the building, anything like that. But what I'd like to do is invite up John Vuksik to kind of walk you through the design and the impact that we'll have into the mountain.
Please.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, members of the council. I'm John Vuksik with Prest Vuksik Greenwood Architects, and our firm has designed lots and lots of buildings in the Coachella Valley over the last 30 years and worked with a lot of really great organizations. And we're honored to be part of this team, this ownership, and this team of professionals to work on this exciting project. And we've been given the opportunity to design a very elegant, high-end building on this site, which I think is appropriate for this site. We were really excited when this location was chosen. And as I mentioned to Planning Commission, this is one of only two places I'm aware of, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, where the mountain actually pops up on the other side of Highway 111. And we have the ability to use that as part of our design, and we gained a lot of inspiration from the mountain. We nestled the building into it with windows on the back side, much the way the Chart House did. So you can look up from the building up at the mountain, and we actually have the mountain coming down into the building, inside the building. Also, our roof line is inspired by this little mountain. that has a natural saddle that we've actually repeated down below with our thin, elegant roof line. The building is contemporary in design. It has a lot of glass. It has rich materials, stones, and laser-cut metals, as Leslie mentioned, and different earth tones in the plaster colors. A wonderful outdoor plaza space with a water feature and artwork that we're working on, some significant sculpture work that we'll be bringing forth in the future. We're here to answer any questions that you might have, and as well as the rest of our team. And with that, I'd like to bring up Mr. Steve Finley with Museum Arts Incorporated, who I have to say I've been just thrilled to work with Steve and his firm on the interior of the museum, because these guys are really top of their field, and I'll let him explain more of it to you, but I'm just really excited about that. So with that, Steve Finley.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, members of the council, city staff, guests. Appreciate you all having us in. And really what John said, I just want to kind of echo what we think about this project. We've been in this business of museum design and build for over 50 years. We're based in Dallas, Texas, but we work all over the country, north and south, east and west. And we've had the opportunity to work on some really unique, impactful projects throughout the course of our 50 plus years. What's special about this project in particular is the fact that you're getting an opportunity that a lot of folks don't get. You're getting an opportunity to take a beautiful building, a beautiful space, and our role is to help take that space and from the inside start to tell those stories, those messages. Really what we're really gifted at from a kind of overarching is really identifying the story and helping to educate and educate the audiences and talk about conservation of what's going on. So we really want to come alongside and help take those people on a journey. So as you come into that beautiful building, what we're doing is we're taking the inside and we're building the exhibits. And those exhibits are north and south, they're east and west, they're different biodiverse areas, different continents. You're going to see everything's kind of like a journey around the corner, and there's different experiences. And it's a unique way to get to bring your kids and the people of this community and beyond, by the way, and educate them on things that they're not going to see in a lot of places. This is an educational opportunity, an opportunity to bring something to your area that's unique. And again, we've been doing this for a very, very long time, and we just really honored to be a part of the team. I'm here to answer any questions that you all have from the creative elements and aspects to how we come up with our stories and messages and outlines to how we lay out the space and some of our mantras as far as kind of making sure that that's a world-class museum, a destination, not a grandma's attic type thing, more of an educational opportunity. So thrilled to be a part of it, thrilled to be a part of this team, and here to answer any questions y'all may have as we move forward.
Is there anyone else from the team that has some remarks? Okay, we'll ask for public comment on this.
Thank you. I did not receive any speaker cards. Is there anyone who would like to provide public testimony on public hearing item 6C? No speakers.
Are there any council comments?
I do. Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I'll begin by saying that I like everything I see about this building. I like everything I see about this concept. I want to be in a position to vote yes on this project today. I also think that this adds a unique element to the cultural experience in the city of Rancho Mirage. So we start at farther down Highway 111 with our amphitheater that provides important entertainment for the residents of Rancho Mirage. We move on down Highway 111, we have our library and our beautiful observatory. And this would be a remarkable addition to that cultural stretch of Highway 111. So I like everything that I see here today. But I've got some questions, and I'd like to feel comfortable about a couple of things that I normally would not ask about. I normally would not be concerned about the operation of a business as long as as long as everything you want to do here with building of this museum, constructing of it, meets code and does what you say it's going to do, as long as it's architecturally right for the community, and you've done a great job. It's a beautiful building. I appreciate that. But in this case, this is a very unique parcel of property. We've waited for years, more than a decade, for something to come along on this parcel. It's also on Highway 111, part of that Highway 111 specific project that I talked about earlier today. So it's important for us to know that you really have the right idea in place with respect to curation and operation and the exhibits in this museum. I want to know more about that, and I want you to tell me whatever you can tell me to make me feel comfortable about that. And the next thing that I want to know is, again, something that I generally would not be concerned about, which is it's up to you to figure out how to operate your business. As long as we approve it, it's up to you to figure out how to get financing. You might not get financing. I suspect you may, but you might not. You might not have the endowment to operate this museum into the future. This is a critically important part of this city. We want to make sure that you have the ability to operate this facility for decades to come. I would like, Paul Omat, I'd like you to come to this podium, and I'd like you to tell me how I can feel comfortable about your curation and operation of this museum, and make me feel comfortable that you've got, number one, the finances available to build this building and the finances available to make it operational for years to come. I want you to tell me that because I want you to make me feel comfortable so that I can vote yes. As of right now, I don't feel comfortable. Help me feel comfortable. Yes.
Madam Mayor, council members, staff, and guests, let me offer two things. So let me start, if I could submit something to the clerk for the record, if I may. I did bring copies. While she's passing that, let me talk about the curation of the museum and the work that we'll do with museum arts to make this an attraction, not just for today, but for tomorrow and future generations to come. This is a privately held collection that's been collected by an individual that's a lifelong resident of the Coachella Valley. It includes over 10,000 specimens from around the world. And so you think about all creatures, great and small, from something as small as a ladybug to something as big as a bear, things like that, everything in between from all around the world. It's a really unique, special kind of curation of a museum. The museum will contain signature pieces. These are pieces that you'll see kind of on an ongoing basis, as most museums have a signature piece that they are known for. And we will also be bringing in pieces over the years from other things, because there's other collectors out there that want to show off what they have too, and we want to share what we have with other museums around the world. So you consider this a living, breathing kind of exchange site for animals around the world, for people to see them in their natural environment. What Steve was underselling for museum arts was the ability that around every corner of the museum design, as you walk through it on this journey, there'll be a new sense of wonder and wow. There's no straight lines in the museum. You actually kind of wind through it on a pathway. You can either do a guided tour or you can do a self-guided tour, whatever works for you best to kind of experience it. And you'll be seeing something kind of new and taking in something different every time because of the contrast of all the different type of species that we'll have in it. We know to keep it fresh and new and keep people coming in that we have to bring in rotating exhibits. We have to bring in educational things. We anticipate once we hire, and again, pending your approval here, our next step would be to hire a museum director who can come in and say, yes, this will be our educational program for this month, this next, and the next. So we hope to have, and we will have, ongoing educational programs. We've built the space into the museum both as some outdoor space and some indoor space for education. So we think that element is going to drive as well. The more people in the museum community and the animal community talk, the more people come to us and say, hey, can we show off this at some point? So we feel very confident that not only will what you see on the first visit be fresh, but subsequent visits will also be fresh. I don't want you to think of a boring kind of, I think he called it grandma's attic. I want you to think of this as something that's more of a destination and a journey that you go through. There'll be some transition zones within this that are really kind of eye-popping. So you might think of a doorway as a doorway, but our doorway is actually the back end of a Jeep that you'd see on an African safari. And you kind of go through that into a new experience. So we've really kind of put some visual things in it that are different than you'll see in other types of museums. It's a more modern approach to museums in terms of what you see, what you feel, what you experience. Not only that, but we'll have displays that are nighttime displays and daytime displays because different animals come out in different environments. And we want to reflect that within the museum. So you'll see our specimens at different eye levels, high, medium, and low. Some will come down from the ceiling. It's going to be a real wide mix of curation in terms of the experience that you see. We know that we've got to keep it new and fresh, and once we can start marketing what we have, we will build out a drip campaign, marketing campaign ahead of this, so that people can start to see what they can see when they come here. We think it will be on par with any other natural history museum here in the United States and possibly around the world as well. We're pretty confident in what we are able to deliver. If that answers your question, I can go further on that, but that's
Where
the
is
basic.
the collection located now?
It's held in a warehouse here in the Coachella Valley. The majority of it is here and in the individual's home as well.
Is that pretty much the entire collection that you intend to populate the museum with? It's already here?
Yeah, so there's a couple things. So most of the collection, again, think 10,000 pieces and think things small. Think everything from ladybugs to small turtles to butterflies to, every mammal you can think of, snakes that you've never seen and heard before, sorry, Mayor, didn't mean to scare you. Every type of animal, reptile, amphibian, everything that you can think of, right? And so there are 10,000 different specimens here. And we are going through the process of making sure that they're all cleaned and certified and all that type of stuff currently now. Again, we don't want to get too far out over our skis. Pending your approval, we'll probably accelerate that work. But our warehouse is set up to do that cleaning and stuff like that. And at a certain time, if this is approved, I'd love to take you through it and kind of show you that on a sneak peek if that's something the council would be wanting to do. So that would be that aspect of it. Did that answer your question, council member?
Yeah, please move on to what you just gave us.
Yeah.
To talk to us about construction financing, or is the money already set aside to build it? Talk to us about money set aside for endowment to operate this museum into the future.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. So what I passed out to the council here is a letter from Rob Shine. Rob Shine, I believe many of you know Rob Shine and Hightower, Lankshine, a firm. They're well-known money managers here in the Valley for over 50 years. Rob is the financial advisor for the foundation. He has sent a letter forward so that the public can know about this that signifies that the museum intends to pay cash for the building of the building and the land acquisition. So there's those two components. We anticipate spending about $16 million on the museum shell outside of it. There's land acquisition costs, and there'll be several million dollars for the interior of the museum after that. And that will all be just funded with what we have kind of cash going forward. The next part of what Mr. Shine lays out is that he is confident in the ability of the endowment portion of this, your investment portion of this, to be able to run the museum ongoing basis for decades to come. We are confident in that assessment. There are certain laws that kind of bar us from talking about an individual person's net worths and financial strategies, but I am comfortable saying, council member, that there are tens of millions of dollars under our control that we can control for this, both for the land purchase and the ongoing maintenance and running of the museum.
Okay, and it's more than you telling us that. You're presenting us with a letter.
Correct.
From a well-known local finance professional who is representing to us that there's already money set aside to build this, and he's telling us that with respect to operating this museum into the future, that he has control over funds that will allow you to do that.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, so we can go after him if he's wrong.
Let's hope. Yeah, we'll send snakes after him, sir.
Okay, well, we know him, his company.
Yeah. Did that answer your questions?
Yes, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Yes, Mayor. First of all, the mayor would like the opportunity to touch one of the large snakes. That's her passion. On the serious side, the building is beautiful. I think it architecturally fits into the environment beautifully. You've as a developer, I recognize how you've incorporated the mountain as part of the edifice, and I think it looks great. And as far as the financial aspects are concerned, I do have prior experience dealing with fairly significant donors who want to maintain their anonymity. I can understand that. This is not unusual. There's a lot of people that are interested in doing good things, but don't want the notoriety. And I think that that evidently is the case here. Based upon your representation of what you've said today and what you've handed us today, is essentially you're saying that the acquisition of the land and the development of the property and the operations is self-funded, and in addition, you have the resources available now in order to carry this out. It's not a situation that you're going into and saying, we have an attractive product here and we feel we can attract donors. That is not what I've heard, and that's what I'm pleased about. I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's a benefit to the community. I think that it will enhance a lot of the activities and the things that make Rancho Mirage unique, and I think this will be one of them. So I look forward to voting in favor of it, and I applaud the details that you've gone through to bring it up to this point. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Is there anyone else?
I do have more questions. Now that the big question is out of the way, so I did note that there were a number of comments, including comments from a member of our Planning Commission about the overflow parking. Tell us more about where that overflow parking is located, and tell us more about, is there some mitigation that we've done with respect to these comments from the public about the location and the view and the look of that overflow parking?
Yeah, we did. Leslie, will you bring that slide back up?
Sure. Can we pull up the slides? Sure. So we have the overflow parking here. There is a landscape plan that is proposing 7 48-inch box desert museum Palo Verde trees, and there are also some existing filifera palms. Due to the comments received and planning commissioners' input, there is a condition of approval to increase that landscape buffer from 10.5 feet to a 20-foot setback, and we will also be providing a new 6-foot tall block wall along with the new wrought iron vents to enclose the back of mountain area. And the bus parking spaces will also be reduced from 4 parking spaces to 3 bus parking spaces.
Okay, and I'm trying to get a sense for exactly where that's located. So it's a corner of Highway 111 and Mirage Cove Drive. So it looks like it's a walk around the edge of that mountain to get to the building. Am I correct about that?
Yes. So
I see now. Okay,
Yes,
that's what I
it's
needed to see.
over here on this side.
Okay. All right, did staff, did you have any conversations with any of the authors of these letters? And are they now more comfortable with with these additional conditions?
Given the timing of when the letters were submitted, staff has not had a chance to reach out directly to them. But we had previously included and had been working on some of these additional conditions since some of the comments were raised during the Planning Commission hearing.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Those are all the questions I have. Thank you.
I have some questions. I've worked with, first of all, welcome, and the building is beautiful. And I enjoyed our conversation yesterday about the curation. I've worked with several museums for almost 30 years, and included the Palm Springs Art Museum, which up until 2005 was known as the Palm Springs Desert Museum. And during that time, half of the museum was fine art, the other half was natural history that included a lot of exhibitions featuring animals. and these exhibits were extremely popular. So now we have this proposal for the Global Wildlife Discovery Museum featuring animals not only from our local area, but from around the world. I'm confident that it's going to be a great and popular attraction in our city. What's more important to me is that Rancho Mirage is, as our colleagues have stated, unique. We have a group of educational organizations right here in our small town, Rancho Mirage, the world-famous Rancho Mirage Library with its own observatory. And the library includes the Robertson Mineral Collection, along with the President Gerald Ford and Betty Ford Collection, and its partnership with TEDx. There's Sunnylands with its collections in architecture and history. The Children's Discovery Museum has hands-on exhibits and programs. The Tolerance Education Center teaches historical and educational programs that are crucial to today's society. We have our beautiful amphitheater. There's the musical theater program at the high school. We have our wonderful parks and trails. So our city is loaded per capita with educational institution experiences that are unlike any other city. So the Global Wildlife Discovery Museum, I'm confident, will add to that. I also know enough about museums I know that funding is always a concern. No museum anywhere can survive on admissions alone. You have to have grants and you have to have donations, and the community has to support its museums. I also know that most museums work for years, and if they're lucky, they try to get an endowment of some sort. So yet here we are with this applicant who not only has the plans for a beautiful building and a vast collection, but also a tremendous endowment. So I believe we on the council treat everyone equally. That includes business applications, which require a rigorous process, including the posting of bonds and verification of funding. This applicant needs to be given the same opportunity. So I'm excited about this new addition to the city, and especially right here on Highway 111. I think, to your point, that this kind of project perfectly fits in to our economic development strategy for the city, and I'm going to vote yes. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Are there any other comments? At one time, you had mentioned the Chart House. It was a unique building, and I think half the time people went to the Chart House just to explore the restaurant as it fit into the mountain. When the travesty of the loss of that building occurred, there were many people that came to City Hall and to council prior to my time advocating that we try to preserve that unique building. It couldn't be done. So you've come to us with this beautiful plan, and it is stunning. It's very measured, it's very thoughtful, which works with how this city works. And what we have a legacy of is measured and thoughtful decisions, which is why we have a terrific quality of life. I think as the Mayor Pro Tem was stating, all the different opportunities that are available here in Rancho Mirage, whether it be the library, the amphitheater, Sunnylands, we can go on and on. I think sometimes we forget that we provide all this to the public for a city that's under 22,000 people. We're pretty unique. And now you're coming to us with this opportunity. Thank you for choosing Rancho Mirage. I think it's beautiful. And I think, as you mentioned, it's an educational opportunity, not only for children, but children of all ages. And we appreciate the fact that you considered the city and that we might have a wonderful opportunity here. Okay, with that.
I would say this. I had worked at the Chart House, and it did have live snakes at times. So, and nobody ever enjoyed them as much as they may enjoy the not live snakes. But good luck to you with that.
For the record, I was bit by a baby rattlesnake when I was 11, and I've never gotten over it. When my son was in the first grade, he went to a petting zoo went to a school at St. Teresa's, and he greeted me with this snake around his neck and tried to hug me, and he almost became an orphan because I was about ready to die. With that, may I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make the motion. I move that we adopt resolution number 2026 next in order, adopting and approving the mitigation, monitoring, and reporting program and mitigated negative declaration SCH number 2025-100436 for the proposed project based on environmental assessment case number EA 25-0003, and 2, adopt resolution 2026 next in order, approving preliminary development plan case number PDP 25-0003 regarding the proposed Global Wildlife Discovery Museum.
I'll second that.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mayor Pro Tem, would it be possible to add the modification to allow staff to revise condition of approval number 43?
Absolutely, and to include that provision.
And we have a second.
I'll second it.
Very good. Please vote.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Congratulations. Next item on the agenda, it's the action calendar. Item number 7A, intention to annex territory comprising 6.76 acres to Community Facilities District Number 1 in connection with preliminary development plan case number PDP 25-0003, Global Wildlife Discovery Museum. Jacob De La Cruz, our financial analyst, will report on this. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon, Council. This item is the first step in the city's annexation process for developments within the city's jurisdiction. The second and final step is planned to be considered at the February 19th council meeting. The territory proposed for annexation is located on Highway 111 south of the Atrium Shopping Center. Condition of approval number 39 of preliminary development plan case number PDP 25-0003 requires that the territory be annexed into Community Facilities District Number 1. In accordance with the condition of approval, the owners of the annexed territory submitted a petition for annexation requesting that the City Council initiate proceedings to annex the territory into CFD1 and provide for expedited approval of the annexation and the levy of the special tax. Upon approval of the resolution, the City will be able to accept the petition submitted by the owner for annexation, consent to the levy upon the annexed territory, allow for the shortening of the time for the special election to expedite the annexation, accept and preliminarily approve the annexation map and direct the City Clerk to record the map, and finally, establish the date and time of the public hearing on the annexation of the territory. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Madam Clerk, do we have comments from the public?
I did not receive any speaker cards for this item. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment on this item? No speakers.
Are there any council member comments?
I'll make the motion.
Please make the motion.
I move to adopt resolution number 2026 next in order, declaring the city's intention to annex territory to Community Facilities District Number 1 and to levy a special tax therein for additional police and fire services, preliminarily approve a map of the area proposed to be annexed, and schedule a public hearing to consider the annexation and the levy of special tax for annexation number 204.
Very good. Do I have a second? Second. Please vote.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Next item on the action calendar, 7B, award of contract related to roadway and sand fence improvements near Bob Hope Drive and Ramon Road. Ryan Stendell, our Assistant City Manager, will be reporting on this item.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council members. While we wait for the presentation to come up, I'm here to present a project to you that generally occurs along Bob Hope Drive at Ramon Road. By way of vicinity, again on the screen at the top, you're seeing Ramon Road in an east-west direction. Towards the bottom of the screen, we have Dinah Shore Drive, and circuitously connecting them is Bob Hope in the center of the screen. As I mentioned, largely the improvements occur at the intersection. However, we do have some ancillary improvements, curb and gutter, slight roadway widening, and a triple layer of sand fencing will occur along Ramon Road and also along Dinah Shore Drive. So by way of background, this is a federally funded grant program, the Congestion Mitigation Air Quality Fund, sometimes referred to as CMAQ. CMAQ funds aim to reduce particulate matter in the air quality through improvements to roadway safety and any way that you can attack either what's coming out of our automobiles or sand in the air. In 2014, the city was awarded just south of $800,000 in aggregate to accomplish this project, and I'll get into kind of what's taken so long in a minute. The project scope, largely at Bob Hope and Ramon, we have a slight widening of westbound Ramon Road. We have about 3/4 of a mile of installation of curb and gutter that's currently not there, and an installation of a dedicated free right turn lane from southbound Bob Hope, essentially exiting the freeway, making the right-hand turn onto Ramon Road, often referred to as a pork chop island. Again, on the sand fencing front, we have along Ramon Road, again, the same approximately 3/4 of a mile of triple row of sand fencing. And on Dinah Shore Drive, we have approximately 1,600 feet of sand fencing that will be installed there as well. From the plan set, it's kind of hard to see, but what we have is, let's see if I get, right here you'll see the free right turn, whereas if you're coming down from the freeway, you'll be able to use the slip lane and just not have to stop as you head westbound towards Cathedral City. And just a simple detail of a 4-foot-high sand fence, which will also be installed. So our current status is right-of-way is what took the large portion of time on this project. The right-of-way acquisition on the Dinah Shore portion included a large parcel with something like 12 or 16 trustees, and it took a very long time to negotiate that deal. But at this point, our right-of-way phase has been completed. Caltrans has issued us our E76, which is a critical document. It basically means you're construction ready. We bid the project first in the summer of 2025, but the federal government almost immediately changed their requirements for this grant fund, so we had to go rebid it again. The changes were largely required as it relates to the disadvantaged business enterprises, and we were required to strip those out of the bid document and rebid. That actually did lead to a bigger, larger bidding pool. We had 4 bidders as opposed to 2 in the first, although the dollars were approximately the same. So on December 11th of 2025, we opened public bids for this project, with the low bidder being Granite Construction at just under $1.7 million. The good news is all of the bids, including the low, was lower than our $2 million engineer's estimate. And as noted in the staff report, staff is recommending that we award to Granite Construction as the lowest responsive bidder on this project. And I certainly would be happy to answer any questions the council may have on this. Thank you.
Are there any questions? Do we have any public comments?
I did not receive any speaker cards. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this item? No speakers.
And do we have council comments?
I do. I would just like to say that as someone who drives this area every day, if I could vote yes twice, I will.
Well, I would vote for it 3 times. Yes. Anyone else? May I have a motion?
Yeah. You can one motion.
And you can't second it, so.
I'll move that we award the contract for congestion mitigation and sand fence installation, CMAQ Project 5412016 to Granite Construction in the amount of $1,677,520.
I'll second, but I'll only do it once.
Please vote.
Motion carries 5-0.
Wonderful. Councilmember Downs has requested a 5-minute recess. We see a lot of our residents here. We want to hear from all of you that wish to speak. So I'm going to grant a 5-minute recess. Please be patient with us. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Could I ask that you take your seats, please? We'll reconvene. As the council members make their way back to the dais, I'd like to thank our audience for your patience. And I have committed that when this building goes up and it's completed, I will stand next to a snake as long as it's not moving.
Don't try to get the snake vote now.
No, I won't. All right. Are we set? Everybody's in place? Great. The next item on the agenda, non-agenda public comments. I'll defer to our city clerk.
Thank you. Now is the time for any comments on something that is not on today's agenda, and our first speaker is Ben Weaver.
Hi, my name is Ben Weaver. My wife and I live at Rancho Las Palmas Country Club, and we've lived there for 11 years. We have a rental condo as well there, and just for full disclosure, I am a member of the HOA Board of Directors, but today I'm speaking strictly as a homeowner. We bought here 11 years ago and we're thrilled to be in Rancho Mirage. We were excited to have a home on a lovely 27-hole regulation length golf course. There were tennis courts and a thriving golf course community. In recent years, flooding in the wash damaged part of the golf course, but Omni always cleaned it up and got it back into shape. But in the past 3 years, Omni abandoned part of the course, saying they didn't want to keep paying for the cleanup. That left us with an 18-hole golf course plus 6 more holes. Now Omni's proposed renovation will remove 2 more holes that are never affected by flooding and jam a 9-hole short course into 4 existing holes. Again, that leaves just one 18-hole regulation course. This is not what we and other homeowners purchased. A court-ordered settlement agreement requires us, 874 homeowners, to pay proprietary fees of more than $890,000 a year, money that goes directly to Omni. Omni also receives more than $4,000 for every home that is sold at Rancho Las Palmas. Plus, golfers pay up to $8,500 a year for a country club membership. In addition, Omni has converted some of the 25 tennis courts into pickleball courts without permission required by the court settlement. We have been virtually begging Omni to listen to our needs and interests as homeowners who pay a lot to live in Rancho Las Palmas. We have sent emails to Omni. We have called. The board and the HOA Compliance Committee have met with Omni to try to get information about the golf course changes. As of today, everything we know about the renovation plans has come through our trips to City Hall to see the plans, open record requests, and meetings with the city staff. Omni has not presented anything to the homeowners at large. Omni's failure to communicate with us resulting in some homeowners, selling their condos and moving to other valley cities out of the area. Renters have canceled, hurting homeowners with income properties, and club members are leaving to join outside of Rancho Mirage. We are not against change. We are not against progress. Today, we are asking you, the city council members, to use your influence with Omni to be good neighbors to us, to have an open and respectful conversation, to listen to our interests and concerns, and a willingness to find common ground on this issue. We are asking for a full 27-hole, well-maintained golf course. It is what we paid for. It is what we were promised. And if I may ask, I know the city is limited in what they can do with private corporations, but if they could delay the permitting process for this renovation that Omni is planning, they seem to already be moving ahead and equipment is being moved in and everything. And it's our understanding as of this morning, those permits have not been permitted yet.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Patty Otteson.
As a reminder, you have 3-minute timeline to make your comments. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, City Council members, and staff. My name's Patty Otteson. I live at Rancho Las Palmas Country Club, and I want to thank each of you for serving on the City Council and your dedication in protecting our quality of life and our safety. The Omni, a multi-billion-dollar company, are the current owners of the hotel, 27-hole golf course, 25 tennis courts, and the country club facilities. We're here today because many residents, as you can see in Rancho Las Palmas, strongly believe that the decisions and actions of the Omni have slowly eroded the conditions in our community over the last 5 years in particular. Their current proposal for what they call minor renovations to their golf course are of particular concern, even though they stated in March 2025 that they would share this plan. They have not done so yet, not one thing. So when homeowners found out that they had submitted plans to the city for approval, the homeowners came here and asked the city to see what those plans were. It was quite disturbing to discover that Omni had no plans to restore the 3 holes damaged by the flooding in August 2023. We understand that decision, but what is so egregious at this point is that Omni is going to remove an additional 2 holes of golf right adjacent to their hotel, take it away from the golf course, and then squeeze what there are now 5 holes of golf into the area that was previously 4 holes, that is now 4 holes. So we have 4 holes that we're going to be left with, and they're going to turn that into a 9-hole pitch and putt course. And the distance of that is going from what we previously had 3,000-yard 9 holes is now going to be 1,060 yards. And all of these holes are adjacent within the community, really close to our condos. Homeowners and members will no longer have the 27-hole regulation golf course, which is the amenity that they had when they purchased their homes. My husband and I retired 17 years ago, purchased a beautiful condo on a fairway. Now that fairway, 1 hole, will be 4 holes. There'll be 4 tee boxes, 4 greens, and at any time there could be 16 golf carts and 32 golfers golfing in that small area. So our beautiful, quiet neighborhood will be no longer. We understand that the city does not have the power over what Omni is doing because they're not violating city ordinances. However, we believe that Omni is operating in bad faith by refusing to negotiate or even speak with us about their plans.
Please wrap up your comments if you
They need to work with us towards a plan that will benefit our community and not only their hotel business. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don Dusacco?
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and council members. Thank you for listening to us. My wife and I moved to Rancho Las Palmas about 9 years ago. I'm the chairman of the architectural committee. Kind of everyone that's here today is like you. We're service people. We want to see our lives be better and improve our neighbors' lives and keep us all safe and happy. Today was the first day I had the opportunity to see the plan because I went through the process. I came down to planning and looked at the plan. And the thing that jumped out to me the most was the fact that when you put in a short course like this, you're going to increase the amount of players because it's only going to take an hour and 15 minutes to play those 9 holes. That means you're going to double the amount of traffic, which we have to control. We're in a gated community, so when they come to the gate, they say they're going to golf, right? So they go to the clubhouse, and now we have all these people now on the golf course and in the community. So I'm concerned about parking, for one thing. We don't have a whole lot of parking down at the clubhouse. So where are they going to park? Because we have all these extra people coming in, right? That was my first question. My second question is the safety of our community in general. We have new people coming in. Who's going to control the speed of the traffic going through? There's stop signs there. They're in a hurry. They want to get their tee time. The clubhouse is pretty far. Omni doesn't marshal. Omni doesn't take care of the security. We pay for that. Our homeowners do. So, and we have a lot of elderly people that are on fixed incomes, and they're concerned about their safety. We've had golf carts stolen the last couple of years, break-ins the last couple of years, and this is just going to add to that population of possibilities of crime. And so that's what jumped out to me. And I know we have a lot of people here that want to say other things about what's going on, but I do oppose this project. I think it's a bad idea. Also, the two holes that they're abandoning, 6 and 5. 5 is where they'll put on venues for weddings and whatnot. And then they have music playing until 10 o'clock at night, and it's really loud. The speakers are outside, and they just blast. And I'm a block and a half away from that, and I can hear it. We have to close our windows. Of course, they're closed in the summer, but not in this time of year they're open. Anyway, thank you for your time. I hope you consider delaying the process until they can convince you that it's going to be a safe place to be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Theodore Cumming?
Madam Mayor and members of the council, it's certainly a privilege to be here today. I moved here in 1977. The only reason I'm speaking today is I'm the last living member who worked on the judgment that we now hold against the hotel owner, whoever it might be. Originally it was Marriott. And I should have probably been here because what you're missing is that I was shocked when I heard that the hotel had put in for a to build some new. They do not have the right to change anything without the permission of our homeowners association, our 11 or our 800 and some proprietary members, and we do have a committee that meets with them every month, a 2-member committee. So I'm going to go back and just tell you the opening, what happened to this. In October 1977, we opened. This was a Bone private country club operation and operated very well for 5 years. And one morning I got up and came home over here, and there was a Marriott hotel. Now, we were very happy because Marriott's a great hotel, and we were the only people in the valley that had a private country club with a 4-star hotel next to it. However, it didn't work out as well, and we had to go to court and sue them. If you want to know what this was Indio, this was the judgment in the Riverside Superior Court. The judge at that time was Charles H. Hughes. I worked with him on it because I was at that time still in business, and I had 10 lawyers reporting to me every day. So I helped him on the thing. But if you want to write down the judgment is Indio 32106. Now, if you read that judgment, you will find that nowhere does the owner of the hotel have any ability to change the course without our permission. Okay? Now, I'm trying to get this down to a few seconds. We set up a rules committee and put in rules and regulations that would be control both for Marriott and ourselves. Nothing in those rules committee will show that they have the ability to make any changes in the course without our permission. So I have to leave it. We got 13 seconds left. I would have had my afternoon nap if I was going to be this long. Anyway, I'm very proud. I'm very proud to actually live in Rancho Mirage. It's not my only home, but that's my tax base home, and I'm very proud of the people who run this because you're a debt-free organization.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Jim Pabst.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, it's a pleasure to be here in front of you today. Everybody said almost everything I was going to say. The only thing I would indicate to you is that being in real estate for the last 22 years, actually almost 30 years, I noticed that our property values everywhere has gone down. But in Rancho Las Palmas, not only has it gone down with everybody else, we've had a problem with people going through and looking at the property. I think currently our golf course in Rancho Las Palmas is rated one of the lowest in the desert, if not the lowest. And I think that has a lot to do with it. So we're not getting the observation of the property as much as we used to. We're not getting sales like we used to. Currently, we have 19 properties for sale in Rancho Las Palmas and only one in escrow. That's a little unusual for us, but I think the market is close to that everywhere else, but ours seems to be a little worse. And I think the golf course has everything to do with that. As far as the cost factor that someone mentioned, the hotel gets all of that $85 a month from every member that owns in the property. In addition, every time one sells, they get $400 to $4,500 for every sale in the property. So for that, we're close to $1 million or a little over $1 million. And I don't think we're getting the service from the hotel that we're paying for. That doesn't even include the memberships that we pay for, those that are members, and the golf, tennis, and pickleball that we as homeowners all go to and contribute to. So I think they're making money off of us, but they're not considering us the way they should be. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Al Sutherland?
Madam Mayor and Council and staff, thank you for this minute in time for me to express my concerns about this proposal that Omni is presenting. A few of the issues I was going to raise have been already addressed. Parking was one of them, and I think that that's kind of partial a part of the infrastructure that this proposal is dealing with, and I think that Omni is kind of misrepresenting the extent and the impact that this change in the golf course is going to have on the, first of all, the HOA, but then also on the city of Rancho Mirage. I think, as I say, the parking is going to be an issue. I think that the plans that Omni has presented to Rancho Mirage for approval also doesn't fully outline how they're going to deal with the start. They're going to need a starter shack or some way to monitor the golfers that start on the first hole, proceed through the 9 holes, because the way they've outlined the executive course, it's going to start, which is currently the 4th hole. It's going to start there, but there is no facility for them to monitor who's going to start there and how they're going to proceed through the 9 holes. So unless they're going to revamp somehow during the development process and maybe change the layout of the 9 holes, I don't know how they're going to start without any control over who's going to play, how they take tee times, how they take funding, or how they take green fees, and then where they finish. So, and then the third, I guess the other issue that I was concerned about is so the HOA was founded in '77. As I understand it, the hotel came into existence 4 years later. So the golf course was already in place. The wash, when the hotel started, the wash was, I think it was involved 4 holes, and it remained a golf holes with a beautiful setting, green space, etc., for the homes overlooking the wash and the hotel overlooking the wash for some 40, 45 or 47 years, and then arbitrarily, Omni decided that they didn't want to deal with the maintenance of those 3 holes, which was, to my way of thinking, part of their obligation when they bought the hotel. So those are my arguments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan Gibson?
Madam Mayor and Councilman, I appreciate the time to coming up and talking to you. I want to direct something to Mr. Downs over there that made a comment earlier about the revenue of Rancho Mirage. We know it's very well profitable. It's very, very, very well run. You'll notice too, if they put if the Omni does what they're going to do to the pitch and putts, I think it affects approximately 300 owners of condos in our environment. Now, if that affects these owners, their house value or their condo value is going to go down. Let's say their taxes go down by $1,000. That is a big impact, not a big impact, but a good, strong impact to Rancho Mirage, because you will lose that revenue by the impact of what Omni is going to do with our homes in the golf course. So our proposal is a couple of things. We would like to have them not do that and negotiate with us so we can make a proper presentation and come to some joint agreement. And I guess finally, one of the things that the city should be concerned about, and I'm sure you are, even though it may not be your privy, is I don't think they put forth any environmental studies to support the things that they want to do at this time. I know it's a big corporation, and they tend to kind of run over us and not pay attention to anything that we do or we ask. We just simply ask a nudge from the astute council members and the astute city, the wonderful city of Rancho Mirage, to assist us as we go forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on the Rancho Las Palmas golf course issue? Okay, please step to the podium and state your name.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Amsden, and thank you for this opportunity. I'm probably the youngest and newest member of Rancho Las Palmas. I've been coming there for 9 years, full-time for 4 years. My opinion is Omni treats these people with total disregard and disrespect. They have given their hearts and souls in the HOA and the Compliance Committee, and they benefit nothing from Omni. Omni has walked out on meetings on them, have told them to their face they don't have time for them, and it's people live there their entire lives and put their heart and soul into this community and the clubhouse and the organization. They support it 100% with events that bring money into the clubhouse, and yet Omni will not give them anything they ask for. And I think they've treated you with disrespect also. And it's obvious. We hear nothing from them but rumors, and the rumors turn out to be false, nothing but lie after lie after lie. You're going to have full notification of everything that's going on this month, next month, down the road, always down the road. Omni does not treat these people with the respect they deserve. And Ted Cummings, the oldest member, he has gone heart and soul into this place every day of his life, and they treat him like a worn out shoe. So that's my opinion on Omni. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any additional speakers on this specific topic?
Madam Mayor, if I may, obviously this isn't agendized, so we can't get into a lengthy discussion, but just some of the things that we heard today, and I appreciate the meeting that staff had with some of you that are out there today, and for coming here today to share your thoughts and opinions with us. From a staff perspective, we did hold a meeting with some of the board members and residents of this country club. There have been no permits issued. Staff is still analyzing the applicant's proposed changes. Independently, I would probably agree with the opinion that the Omni has not been a good partner. When it comes to the speaker that referenced that the Omni will host events and have very loud music, the city would be happy to enforce our noise regulations. So if a property owner would like to contact the city, I would be happy to have a code officer out there with a decimal reader and issuing citations to them. We just have to be invited onto your property. When it comes to their settlement agreement, as I noted with the group that we met with, that probably puts them in a stronger position than us as the city. And so because that is a third-party agreement, that's not something that the city can enforce, but they have their own remedies that they can go to since the homeowners are a party to that agreement. At the end of the day, staff is still analyzing the project, and so far it is not moving forward because the Omni's application team has not given us the information necessary to move that forward. So, thank you.
Can we give these residents a phone number that they can call on the weekends? No, well, no, that's...
So on our city website, our code enforcement, we have a whole page dedicated. You can email, you can call. So we would be happy to enforce our noise ordinance for their events.
Okay, and Madam Mayor, we do have additional public comments.
Terrific. If I can just make a comment, thank you to all of you for coming, taking the time out of your day. It's clear that you're passionate about this. Whatever the city can do, we will do. Our staff is working very hard, and we understand where you're coming from. And please don't hesitate to come back again. You're always welcome in this council chamber. Thank you.
Can I make one more comment?
Can we do that?
It's up to you. It's up to the mayor.
Yes, sir. Mr. Cummings, you're the longest resident.
What you don't realize is that
Sir, with all due respect, could you come to the podium so all of the council members can hear you?
what you don't realize is this is edging toward a class action suit. Now, a class action suit could involve you if you approve permits that are illegal, okay? And we will be suing, if we sue under a class action, all of the original people we sued, right through from the Marriott through, they have to then prove that they're not in the lawsuit. But I think you should look very closely at what you're deciding before you jump into it, okay?
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk?
Yes, our next speaker is Susan Ragsdale.
Hello, City Council. It's good to see you. Happy New Year. I wish you all the best. When I was going to UC Santa Barbara and I was 19 years old in my second year, I took Philosophy 101, and everybody had to write their philosophy of life over the 10-week period, and mine was love, a creative response to life. And this has been my philosophy of life ever since, honestly, since I was a young child. And I'm moving, so I found this beautiful, I mean, I'm very nostalgic, and I just find it amazing that I was a teenager and I was so into this. In October 2019, unfortunately, I had terrible timing when they had the In-N-Out Burger protest that I had nothing to do with. And fortunately, Marcus Aliman warned me, don't go to that meeting because there's going to be a lot of people. So I waited 2 weeks and I came to present my very deep concerns about light pollution in Rancho Mirage and the fact that LED lights, which are completely unnatural and very harmful, causing macular degeneration, not only to humans, but any animal or insect that has eyes. And because of this, the body responds with anxiety, a flight or fight response. And so if there are what's called glare bombs, then people feel anxious. They don't really know why, but they're having that, I gotta get out of here. Like, it seems like you have some new lights here, and I'm finding them very painful to my eyes. In my move, I dug up this is like a 54-page report, and this is what Dana Hobart was very much interested in having a 15-minute meeting, which he arranged with Mr. Hagerman back then. And what I want to say is that I would love it if you could stop Catino in their tracks from creating an environmental disaster regarding the lights. Fortunately, after I'm going to run out of time. It's just so frustrating. I have so many things to say. There was a precedent-setting case after a five-year court case in the UK that they finally agreed that these lights are extremely dangerous. This is the kind of lighting I would encourage Catino to put in, where they could make it a beautiful, like, artistic experience rather than glare bombs hurting people and making them repelled. So I'm leaving this with you. I wish I had more time. I always want to talk to you a lot. I know you think I over-communicate, but I ask you, what would you do if you were me? I mean, I was illegally evicted, and it's just terrible. Thank you very much.
Zachary Katana.
All right. Good afternoon, Mayor, Madam Mayor, speakers, and fellow community members. I'm a longtime Valley visitor, first-time speaker here. My request, if for lack of appropriate word, is simple. My family and I, we are currently property owners at outside of Wilshire Palms development off of Country Club, and we are some rare breeds that like to actually walk for exercise. Around here when the weather permits. And when we like to especially walk to the local businesses. And so where the development's located, it's on the north side of Country Club Drive. The only sidewalk to walk on is on the other side of the street. So that means that when we come in and out of the development, we have to try to cross Country Club Drive with, tons of vehicles and cars that go up to like 60 miles per hour. And one of my general frustrations with society as a whole is it seems like it's more reactive than proactive. And essentially what we would like to see is a stop, ideally an intersection, a stoplight and crosswalk put in, at least a crosswalk though, because it feels like a disaster waiting to happen. So crossing back and forth, that way, cars can be more regulated in terms of speed and stopping. People can come and go. This is especially important given how the valley is growing in population with more developments coming, more people renting. It just feels like that would be to everyone's interest to have more traffic mitigation. So at least a crosswalk, but ideally a light and a crosswalk as well. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments.
Wally Melendez.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Wally Melendez. So, the executive branch of the federal government is way out of control. In the leadership of convicted felon Donald Trump, that woman, that lady, was murdered by ICE in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I don't know why ICE picks on Minnesota. Maybe because Mr. Walz is a good candidate to beat him this November, or rather, to be elected as president. I want to tell you, Here's something funny. A guy in a Border Patrol uniform is harassing in Minneapolis. Is harassing an African American that's working in Uber. You all know what Uber is. And in a Border Patrol uniform. And he's harassing this African American man, asking him where he was born and so on and so forth. And here's the funny part. The African American guy retorts to the guy and says, "You have a Border Patrol uniform. Aren't you kind of far from the border?" That is really, really funny to me. Hey, by the way, I'm from the border, Brownsville. That's where I originated. They are threatening Trump. He's threatening, or somebody up there in his cabinet, his clown cabinet, or threatening that they are going to bring in Elon Musk back to the Oval Office. Elon Musk was the one that had Trump elected president last year. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the last speaker card. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak on something that is not on today's agenda? That was the last speaker.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. The City Council will recess to closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll be convening into closed session for the item before you listed on the agenda, 9A1, Conference with Legal Counsel, Existing Litigation Pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, Case name unspecified since disclosure may jeopardize existing settlement negotiations.
We are reconvening after closed session. I'd like the city attorney to report out any reportable actions.
Thank you, Mayor. No reportable action taken today.
Very good. We will adjourn the meeting at 4:08 p.m.